What's up, gamers, and welcome back for more WotC-20. Today's matchup is Sleep Swap versus Riptide. Riptide specifically with Buzzap, and Sleep Swap specifically with Umbreon from Aquapolis. So, two pretty good decks. This is brought to you by round 2 of the WotC-1K hosted in Connecticut at Imperial Games. And this is I believe a 1-in-1 table getting featured. So opening actives will be Cleffa versus Cleffa. I'm sorry, 1-0 versus 1-0 table, not 1-in-1. And opening Cleffas. Looks like Swap gets turn 1 here with a Recycle Energy attached to the Cleffa and a Doduo on the bench, and will eke for a heads immediately. And first turn for Riptide. Looks like there's already a Voltorb on the bench. That will become Buzzap eventually, as well as Totodile. Going to Juggler for just 1 to draw 3 as supporter for turn with another Cleffa on the bench. And it's a pass back with a pretty large hand. That was the only energy thrown out of 3 draws. Juggler assumedly would have picked up another and did not. So no attach for turn. A fresh 7 for Sleep Swap here. And then card number 8 for the turn. There are some Drowsies, as well as a Hypno. Sleep Swap's goal here is to use Retreat Aid off of Jungle Dodrio to cause all sorts of disruption. A very disruption-heavy deck in general, but particularly by putting up into the active slot Aquapolis Hypno, putting the opponent's active to sleep, using Umbreon to rip apart the hand. There's a lot of options for Sleep Swap to go down. Second Drowsy will hit the bench. That's from Rockets. Considering a Gust. Gust could guarantee some eeks, and it will be a Gust on the Totodile after some consideration. That Totodile is from Expedition, so it is Lightning Weak rather than Grass Weak, and it will be a Shaman. So both hands go down to 4. Of course, Sleep Swap can eke back into a larger hand. And Sleep Swap really looking for that Black Star promo Eevee to get the full bench set up at this point. Worth noting with evolutions that Drowsy could always also go for a long distance Hypnosis. It's a coin flip. Heads, the opponent is asleep. Tails, you are asleep, but you can play around that. Looks like a Town V and a Rainbow Energy were drawn into, as well as an Umbreon and Hypno. Rainbow for turn onto the Drowsy. One of the Drowsies, dealing 10 damage to it, and an Eek for turn. Turns pass back to Riptide, the unstoppable tide of, is that a Croconaw? It sure is. And another Totodile joins the bench. Igglybuff joins the bench, so full bench for Riptide into a very nice Oak, so Shaman not doing as good of a job of stopping the unstoppable Riptide. And a Water attached for turn into that Croconaw. Croconaw itself, a very good attacker, 80 HP. 2 colorless pips for tackle will deal 20. Sweep away will deal 50 while milling the top 3 cards of the deck, but that is 2 water and a colorless. And turns pass again. Goldberry attached to that Croconaw. Takes advantage of Feraligator's massive 120 HP. Item Finder for Juggler. Discarding 2 water. So that'll be a draw 5, a supporter for turn. You can see a Trash Exchange, a Misty's Wrath. Looks like the Gator line maybe. Rocket's Training Gym as well. So now everything has an additional retreat cost. And straight into a Misty's Wrath, so you look at 7, and then you get to take 2 and put them into your hand. So I'll discard a Pichu, a ton of water, and an Electrode. That's base set Electrode with Buzzap. We'll talk about it in a bit, I'm sure. And there is the Buzzap. Will it trigger right now? It will, so that'll be a prize for Sleep Swap. So the way Buzzap works, anytime during your turn before attacking, you can knock out Electrode and attach it to one of your Pokemon. If you do, you choose an energy, and Electrode provides 2 of those. So that means Croconaw can attempt Sweep Away, which succeeds. Mills 3 off the top though, hitting Water, Croconaw, and Misty's Wrath, putting Cleffa to the bench, and recycle back into hand for Sleep Swap. So Doduo comes up. Another Doduo hits the bench. 2 Dodrios would effectively allow Sleep Swap to ignore the Stadium. And a Fan Club being considered to grab an Eevee as well as, assumedly, a Cleffa. And there was one. So noting one Cleffa knocked out, there is one Cleffa in the deck. Sleep Swap right now realizing that there are 2 Cleffas still prized out of the 5 prizes left, prizing being 5-5 tied. So Cleffa to the bench, full bench now for Sleep Swap. Supporter for turn consumed by that Fan Club. Now the real question is, can a Dodrio be found so that the Doduo can free retreat? There's a lot of energy, no obvious path to getting Doduo out of the active. ER comes down, hits that Electrode. That's always the risk in this format, is if you do go with Buzzap, are you going to immediately lose that energy acceleration? So now Croconaw not able to attack as easily. And the bench does not have another Voltorb set up for Riptide, so it's going to be a little tricky to get up and attacking again. At least a turn was bought there. So much energy, you don't want to oak this hand away. There's also a Mime. Recycle to Doduo will allow it to retreat. And puts Cleffa back up. Rolling for long distance hypnosis is good. And a pass. So Croconaw's asleep with 1 energy on it now. Wakes up immediately on the turn back. Now we'll see what Riptide can do here. Attach for turn. Water energy to active, so Tackle is online for 20. Rolling for Tackle. And that is a Tails. Passing back to Sleep Swap, more energy in hand. Really don't want to oak this hand. Recycle to Cleffa. And Eek. So, big hand gonna get swapped out with another big hand. Meanwhile, back for Riptide. Sweep Away is once again an attacking option for this Croconaw. That will be the only card played by Riptide this turn, going for Sweep Away. Tails again, so 2 Tails on this Cleffa. Now we'll see what Sleep Swap pulls off the top. There's a Hypno. That'll trigger the Eevee. No Dodrios yet, though. Quick bin check. I believe that's... yeah, 2 item finders in hand. I don't think there was a trader in the bin or anything to go and get that Dodrio. Hypno evolving, or Drowsy evolving into Hypno, now triggering Black Star promo Eevee with that chain reaction ability, bringing in Aquapolis Umbreon. And that is the McDonald's promo during the day instead of at night. So the classic Aquapolis Umbreon art is at night. DCE going onto that Umbreon. And considering real quick if there's any reason to attempt item finder here. Could ER decides to Eek instead, saving those item finders for later. Now it's been slow going, but there is finally the Feraligatr with an extra water attached to play around ER. And now Feraligatr, big 120 HP, retreat cost of 4 at the moment. Grass weakness won't matter here. Riptide will deal 10 damage plus 10 more for each water energy in the discard pile. Then you will shuffle all water energy from the discard into the deck, but Riptide hits tails for this Cleffa. And a fresh 7 is drawn. There's a trader in hand, but nothing to leverage the trader with. Darkness energy will attach to Umbreon, which means Dark Moon is now usable. And I wouldn't be surprised if we see a comp search for that Dodrio here. It is in fact comp search, throwing away a Psychic Energy and a Double Gust. Opting to keep the trader though. And there is the Dodrio. So now with Retreat Aid, free retreaters can once again free retreat even with that stadium up. That is not the case for the Umbreon and the Hypno though. And instead opting to Eek, not going to get too aggressive yet. Would rather dangle the Cleffa, force the knockout, get another bench slot opened up, and start disrupting at a later point. Now this is dangerous because you could get gusted. Comp Search throwing away a Feraligatr and a Cleffa. We will remember that for later. Alright, so, worth noting, 1 Feraligatr in the bin, 1 in the active. Unsure what was grabbed here with Comp Search. And it is in fact going to bring out Gust. That was probably Comp Searched for. Now Sleep Swap drawing the hand from Eek. There's Trader with a Pokemon to enable it. And Riptide takes the knockout on Umbreon, removing a bunch of energy off the board. The main attacker of the deck, shuffling all that water back into Riptide, prizing now 5-4. So big knockout. Setting up another Umbreon is going to be a liability moving forward just because of how long it takes. So we might see some Hypno action. Trader. Putting a Doduo in, I assume this will bring out Dodrio number 2. This effectively nullifies Rocket's Training Gym. At least for Sleep Swap's side. It's still a retreat of 4 for Feraligatr. Thinking about it. And it looks like DCE for turn 2 Hypno, so Hypno likely to start attacking. It does have a pretty good attack in Spiral Aura. For 1 Psychic Energy and 2 colorless, you can deal 30, and then if that does not cause a knockout, you may Gust the opponent. So, pretty good. A little non-bowy with Sleep Pendulum, where you can put the opponent to sleep for free if it's active, but that flexibility is very nice. Four cards in hand for Gator. Looks like a quick bin check there. ER being sat on does not look appealing at the moment. So Hypno comes in, puts Gator to sleep, and deals 30, decides not to push. You could trap that Totodile in the active for 2 attaches, but then you just have Gator on a crackback later on if you do take that knockout eventually. Trash exchange happening, counts the bin, shuffles it into the deck, and then discards that many off the top. This is a good way to keep Riptide rolling. It'll take 7 water in the bin to knock out this Hypno. And now we get to see the big reveal. 1, 2, 3, 4. Sorry, it will not take 7 in the bin, it will take 6 in the bin. Because it does 10 by default, and Feraligatr does have Downpour, so you can always discard water from your hand at will. So Hypno has 20 remaining HP, does not get knocked out. That's a big deal here. Prizing still 5 to 4. Hypno number 2 comes down. Bin check again. Psychic for turn, maybe? Yep, Psychic for turn on the Hypno. Really trying to think about whether or not to use that item finder. Three cards in hand for Gator, considering going and grabbing Shaman, it looks like. Zero water in bin, and it looks like Cleffa's gonna come on up here. We're gonna slow things down. Hypno's gonna take a breather. We're just gonna eke to try to get a better hand. That isn't a bunch of energy. Gator stays asleep for this turn. There is a trash exchange in hand, so Riptide can keep going here. Turns pass back, but Croconaw has evolved on the bench. Drawing into a Mime, Psychic. There's Finder again, another Dodrio, Double Gust, and Eevee. Psychic, and the draw for turn will be Hypno. Making some bench space. And here comes Jungle Mime, I assume. Yes, indeed, so. Mr. Mime with Invisible Wall has joined the fray, gets a Psychic attach for turn. It'll be interesting to see if Riptide has an easy answer for Mr. Mime. Invisible Wall means any attack dealing 30 or more to Mr. Mime is prevented. Of course, you can shut that off with a status, but still. Assumedly again considering Shaman? Considering Double Gust, maybe? A chance to target down a Croconaw, and instead it will just be Eek playing patiently. Pichu joins the bench. Not what you want to see if you're swap. Pichu has a lot of targets, literally the entire bench. Sleep wakes up Gator between turns. Just forgot to roll before Pichu was benched. And we will see a trash exchange here. Counting out the bin, shuffle it into the deck. And then discard off the top. Hypno line is drawn along with Eevee, another ER. Or sorry, not ER, IF, item finder. Rainbow Energy, recycle into Duo. Now we see what comes off of that trash exchange. One water, one water. So not enough to knock out the Cleffa, and there's also no water in hand. Rolling for Riptide anyway. It's good. Deals 20, so that's the second Riptide miss on a KO. Prizing still 5-4. Recycle for turn to Mr. Mime. For Alligator put to sleep again, thanks to the Hypnos. All this movement enabled with 2 Dodrios online in the face of that stadium. And it is mime time, it looks like. Even though that Pichu is threatening, it's going to be very hard to get this for Alligator out of the active. Knocking it out, of course, is an option. And Mr. Mime will deal 40 damage with Meditate, and Gator will wake up in between turns, so... Meditate for a Psychic and a Colorless Energy will deal 10 damage plus 10 more for each damage counter on the defending Pokemon, so it gets stronger and stronger with usage. But Goldberry nullified it effectively, and another Goldberry comes down. And here comes Trash Exchange. Could very realistically dump too much water into the bin, thus allowing Mr. Mime to just stick around. Of course, there's always the chance of getting gusted, so we'll keep an eye on that. $14 going into the bin. We'll count water. 1, 2, 3. So that would be 40 damage off a Riptide. Mr. Mime would not be affected. Thought about retreating Gator there, but the stadium makes it -4. It's a lot of deceleration, decides not to do it. Energy in hand. Nothing hyper appealing right now, it looks like. Always sitting on that item finder. Psychic for turn to Hypno. So now there are 2 Psychics on that Hypno. That's the Hypno with no damage on it, of course. Sleep Pendulum from Hypno puts for Alligator to sleep. Rolling in between turns, the Gator stays asleep, Meditate dealing 40 and knocking off yet another Goldberry. And Gator decides to just pass the turn, wakes up on the way. Town V drawn off the top for Sleep Swap. They are shortcutting this, but essentially Mr. Mime is being free retreated out thanks to the Dodrios despite the stadium. Hypno comes active, uses its ability to put the Alligator to sleep, and then free retreats once again because of the 2 Dodrios. And Mr. Mime comes back in. So that is why the Gator is going to sleep every turn. Rainbow Energy attached to Hypno, putting 10 damage on it, which in the grand scheme of things in this matchup isn't really going to matter with Pichu math or getting Riptided. And Mr. Mime hits Meditate again for Alligator at 70, but now it wakes up from the sleep, so Mr. Mime could take a KO off of for Alligator. Looks like we're going to see item finder for, I assume, Oak. Yep, there's the Oak. left. Juggler and bin. Oak gets a fresh 7. Let's see what it is. Even if there's a gust, though, to take a prize off of one of these Hypnos, there's another Hypno on bench, and that Mr. Mime's going to come back in for an easy knockout, if that's what Feraligatr decides to do. Now, I thought there was another Croconaw down, but it looks like there's still a bench Totodile. So Feraligatr does retreat for 4, big deceleration, but it's got a lot of damage on it. Pichu instead going to come in and mark 20. That puts the Mr. Mime at risk for sure. Oh right, and it gets a knockout on the Hypno because it had 60, so prizing now 5-3 in favor of Riptide. Injured Clefos, injured Dodrios, which does enable Rage. Don't know if we'll see it though. The other Hypno at 30 out of 80. Mr. Mime 20 out of 40. Drawing an Oak, not really what you want here. You want to be able to hold on to that Town V if this Mime gets put to the bin. Hypno's going to come in. Pichu is put to sleep. Now there is another Hypno line in hand. If you're worried about this one getting knocked out, you can always start setting another one up. Quick bin check again, probably counting lines. There's no rush to put down that Drowsy, because the Drowsy would also get hit by Pichu's Zap if it were down. Just gonna sit on the hand, roll for a knockout with Spiral Aura, it looks like. Big flip on this baby rule. And that is a Tails. So Pichu lives, but will it wake up? It does not. So double Tails. Both sides stare at each other. Lots of water in hand right now. Gonna start slowly powering up Feraligatr, but thinking about it. Reminder that Feraligatr, I believe, is at 70 damage. Oh, no, it's not at 70, it's at 90 because Pichu hit it, because it has an ability. Fair enough. Alright, so the water attach instead goes to the Totodile, because at 90 that Feraligatr could get knocked out by a myriad of things now, including a Dodrio, given Rage Math at the moment. Misty's Wrath. Going to grab a certain 2. One Feraligatr is in the bin. Quick bin check here from Swap. One Gator in the bin. 2 Gator in the bin. Goldberry attaches to the Feraligatr on the bench. And turns will pass back. Pichu stays asleep. Goldberry's going to pop between turns there, bringing it down to 50 damage on it, which means it can survive a Meditate from Mr. Mime. But note that that water energy went to the Totodile, not the Feraligatr there. DCE for turn is going to attach to Dodrio. Oh man, well it can swing for 30, so it's good against babies. Just needs one more attach further down the line. Still thinking about whether or not to drop Drowsy here. Rolling for knockout. It's good. Pichu goes to the bin, prizing now 4-3, still in favor of Riptide. Igglybuff comes active. Not enough energy on board for Feraligatr to start attacking, But here comes another Voltorb and a water attached for turn anyway, 2 for Alligator, so threatening that Buzzap. And there's a Croconaw. But there are 2 for Alligator in the bin, which means 1 for Alligator on the bench is the last one in the deck. This particular build runs 3 for Alligator. Sometimes Riptide runs 4/4. It all depends on personal preference. Huge hand for Sleep Swap here. Could attach Rainbow to Dodrio, it would make Rage 10 damage stronger. If you're not familiar with Rage, it's 10 damage plus 10 more for each damage counter on Dodrio, so kind of like the inverse of Mr. Mime, I guess, where it's Dodrio instead of the opponent. Here comes the item finder. We've been sitting on this for a while. Plenty of discard options, though. Discarding a Doduo and an Eevee, maybe? Nope, gonna check the Mon lines in the bin first to see, am I really not going to set up an Umbreon line again this game? That's probably what they're thinking. And it will be the Eevee in the bin, not going to try to get cute and set up Umbreon again. Gator getting gusted up. It can't attack yet. No ER to be seen, though. Now with Pichu gone, the Drowsy comes in. Everyone trying to figure out if there was an attach for turn. So there was no attach for turn, that DCE was the prior turn, but everyone's being safe here. Mime's gonna come in and put this Gator 10 damage away from a knockout. And it looks like the Gator stays asleep in between turns. There's Electrode. Prizing 4-3 in favor of Gator still. Water attach for turn to Croconaw. Remember, Sweep Away, pretty good attack. 50 damage would start cleaning up the board against Sleep Swap. It'll take out the Doduos in one hit from this point. It would take out the damaged Hypno, the Cleffa, so Sweep Away, pretty scary. DCE attached to Hypno for turn as that Drowsy evolves. Remember that Croconaw could also take out Mr. Mime with Tackle for 20. Damaged Hypno coming in. Dangle's a prize for Croconaw on the crackback. Knockout taken with Spiral Aura, so prizing even at 3-3 right now. Grabbing a comp search out of the prize pile. Those Cleffas are still missing. We talked about that very early. This Croconaw actually pretty scary with Sweep Away. Tough choice here for Riptide to figure out what to bring active. Rocket's Training Gym doesn't make it easy to just throw a baby up and figure it out later. And Croconaw will come in. Remember, all 3 for Alligator are in the bin right now. Gust drawn. Water attached for turn. And Dodrio will get gusted up. Surprising, now 3-2 in favor of Riptide. One Dodrio down means that there will be no more freebies in terms of free retreating for Sleep Swap with that stadium up, and 3 got milled off the top for Riptide. So everyone's prized up, 3-2 as I said. Sounds like there's one card in deck. Did I hear that right? I think there's 1 card in deck. Comp search. What are we looking for here? Darkness Energy might be held as a pseudo plus power. It looks like Rainbow's gonna go to the bin with Trader for this comp search. Quick bin check, see what you have. It's gonna be ER onto the Water Energy. Thin deck for Sleep Swap as well. Both sides running out of deck. Waiting on the attach return here. Darkness Energy to Hypno is something. That would make Spiral Aura deal 40 and 2-shot this Croconaw. Instead, the damaged Hypno is going to come in. Puts the Croconaw to sleep. Will Spiral Aura be used to push is the question, with the stadium down. Decides not to switch. If Riptide needs 2 prizes and the deck is at 1, it might not matter here. That's the last card, alright. Trash Exchange as the last card can do absolutely nothing right now. Riptide trying to figure out how to put anything back into the deck. Hand is too small to eke. And it looks like that'll be it. Even with a knockout, 1 prize short for Riptide means that Sleep Swap could pass turn to deck the opponent, sealing the game. So, fun game. That's round 2. Thank you for watching. For more WotC-20, give us a subscribe. Catch you later.